So we're going to come for Prasarita Padottanasana now. If you need bricks because your groins are a little tight, hamstrings are a little tight maybe, then you can have bricks in front of you. So I'm just going to show you how we're going to work in this Prasarita Padottanasana action. You step or jump your feet wide, lift through your legs, hinge at the hips, take the hands down, either to bricks or to the floor underneath the shoulders. Bring your hands to the center. Make sure you're in a Tadasana action, feet together, chest lifting, kneecaps lifting, tailbone long. And then inhale, step or jump. Any problems with the knees or the hips or the back, you always step your feet. Alright, so pressing down into the outer edge of the feet, making sure your middle toe points directly forwards. Put your hands on your hips. Inner thigh to thigh bone to outer thigh. Roll your shoulders back and down. Put your fingertips here on your frontal pelvic bones and lift them up. So lift up the frontal pelvic bones as you hinge at the hips, keeping your back flat, extending the collarbones forwards, drawing those shoulder blades down towards your back waist. Place your hands just beneath the shoulders. Activate the legs again, pressing into the outer edges of the feet, moving the inner thighs to the thigh bones, moving the thigh bones to the outer thigh. Lift your frontal pelvic bones up, move your abdomen towards your spine. Keep breathing through the nostrils. Now, if it's difficult for you to come up from this position, then you will heel toe your feet together. Otherwise, hands onto the hips and lift up. Heel toe the feet in slightly and then step or jump the feet back into a Tadasana action. So now we're going to come into the full Prasarita Padottanasana action with the head down. But the floor is a lot further away than you might think it is. Some of you are reasonably flexible and may be able to get your heads to the floor. Most people will not be. So in that case, you take a chair or some foam pads and bricks, and you put your head onto that. So I'm just going to demonstrate. So you could use the seat of a chair here. That would be a bit taller and that is fine. So all of these same actions, but then we flatten the palms, take the hands back and rest the head down. So it might be that you rest onto a pile of foam pads. Some more flexible people will be able to rest the head to the floor. That is not where we're aiming for. Don't get hung up on the idea that you've got to take your head to the floor. For those for whom that's too low, you'd build up to whatever height it is. Now, if you are working with your hands onto bricks, just keep in this action with the hands onto the bricks. Don't start taking the head down. All right, so let's do that one together. So if you're using your hands onto bricks, then you just repeat that action, placing your hands down onto the bricks. Those who are using foam pads, place them in front of you. Step or jump. Make sure that the heels are the same distance away from the back of the mat, so you've not got one leg forwards, one leg back slightly. Pressing down sharp into those outer foot bones. Lift your inner ankles, lift your inner knees, lift your inner thighs, lift your inner groins. Push down into the outer foot bones with the outer legs. Lift your frontal pelvic bones, move the abdomen back to the spine, hinge at the hips. Keep those legs strong and active. Take the hands beneath the shoulders. Draw the shoulder blades down towards the back waist. Now, if you need to put your foam pads in, this would be the point that you bring them back. Those who are attempting to take the head down, flatten your palms, walk your hands back. Those who are taking the head to the seat of the chair, you can take the head to the seat of the chair, that's fine. Those working on bricks, just hands onto the bricks. Now, if you're working a little more strongly with the head maybe onto one foam pad, you would make sure that your middle finger on each hand faces directly forwards and that your elbows are in line with your shoulders. So the elbows are not coming out wide, they are in. And the legs are lifting strongly in this action. Now walk the hands forwards, lift your head, heel toe the feet in, and come up, stand in Tadasana. Roll the shoulders back and down, stretch down into the fingertips, kneecaps, thigh muscles lifting. Now this is quite nice to do with your back to a wall, but again you can use the seat of a chair. So we'll take the right leg up and turn the foot out. Your left leg is going to come wide like that, and we're going to turn in that way. Now you might like to have a wall behind you to give you a little bit of extra rotational action. All right, so starting out sitting on a couple of foam pads. Stretch the legs out in Dandasana, roll your shoulders back and down, pull the flesh of the buttocks back so that you get length in these hamstrings. We're going to take the left leg up and then turn this foot out. Okay, now this right leg will come out wide, but you need to be on the center of the heel with the toes pointing towards the ceiling. So this leg needs to be strong and straight, lengthening through the inside of the leg to the inner heel. Keep this foot turning out and bring the heel in as close as it's comfortable. For those with knee problems, of course the foot will have to come further out because this flexion may not be achievable. So pressing down with the heel, hooking the inner elbow and turning. So let this side flank release, make sure that this right leg is not drifted off. So sometimes the toes drift off to the side when we're in this action. Breathe, roll and rotate. Releasing and bringing the right leg back, left leg back, and then bring your right leg first of all into Marichyasana action, and then you can take this heel to the outer corner of the foam pads and turn the toes out. And then your left leg comes out wide into an Upavistha Konasana action. So we have to press down with this heel, bring it in as closely as you can, stretch up, hook and turn. So as we turn, this straight leg wants to roll out, so we have to keep on the center of that heel of the straight leg and get the rotation not from the legs but from the torso. And if you've got tightness in your side flanks, well, this is one that will really highlight that. It lengthens the side waist, it's very nice. Again, don't force the action. Okay, and releasing and stretching the legs out. Ardha Matsyandrasana. Leg straight, leg across, hook and turn. For those who are able to, this left leg will come back into a Virasana action. So we did the Virasana kneeling action, you may remember before, and then the right leg comes across and we turn. So I'm going to show it from different angles so you can see this, the direction of the different legs. So the left leg folds back into a virasana, the right leg comes across the left leg, and we take the hand to the seat of the chair. So I'm going to show the other way as well. So if you're just getting yourself set up, sit on your 2 foam pads, sit in Dandasana while I just show the demonstration on this side. Okay, so it's either with the legs in this action, or if knees are a problem, then the legs are like that. All right, hopefully we're all on the same page. So for those who are working with a straight leg, left leg remains straight, right leg goes across. Those who can work in virasana, fold your left leg back into a virasana action, spread your toes, press down with the shins, don't let that left leg drift out too much. Bring the right leg up into a Marichyasana action and take it across your left leg. Bring the shin to a perpendicular position, hook your inner elbow and turn. So with this action, this right side tends to become a little bit light, so you have to weight down into that right sitting bone. Breathe, rotate, roll the shoulders back and down. Release, stretch that leg out. And then we'll go to the other side. So fold back, toes spreading, pressing into that little toe side of the foot. Bring your left leg up, take it across the right leg, bring the left shin to perpendicular, hook with your inner elbow and turn, and take your left hand onto your chair seat behind you. Roll that left shoulder back and down, lift your chest. Let the breath flow. And releasing. Well done. Okay, so we're going to come now for Upavistha Konasana on 2 foam pads. So we're going to sit on 2 foam pads and take the legs first of all into a Dandasana action, and then take the legs wide like this. Okay, so let's do that together. So sitting in Dandasana, roll the shoulders back and down, chest lifted, and take the legs out to the side. So stretch into the inner heels, keep your kneecaps facing towards the ceiling, keep your toes facing towards the ceiling, but also drawing towards your face. Place your hands either onto your foam pads behind you. If that's difficult for you, you can put some bricks or some books either side of you to get that lift and extension of the spine. So you're extending from the inner groins to the inner knees, from the inner knees to the inner heels. Roll the shoulders back and down. Soften the facial features. Move the abdomen back towards the spine. Okay, and releasing the legs, bring them back to the center. So we're going to do a Baddha Konasana now on the seat of a chair. Now, if you don't have a yoga chair and your chair for whatever reason does not work all that well in this action, you can do this onto the seat of a sofa as long as the sofa is reasonably firm. Or you can use foam pads in front, which is a very good way to work, particularly for those with knee problems, because it just gives you a chance to have a longer stance. So I'm just going to show with those bricks on top because it takes it a little bit higher. So if you have a problem with your knees, you can bring your feet quite far ahead of you so that this angle is not so sharp. If you don't have a problem with your knees but you don't have an appropriate chair, then you can bring your supports quite close in. You can even use another chair, 2 dining chairs, one in front of the other like this. Those who have a yoga chair or a chair that will work in this way can take the feet up onto the seat of the chair. So we're just trying to get an opening in the groins, and this comes with time. Those of you who know me well will know that I found this pose incredibly difficult when I first started in yoga, and my knees were up by my shoulders at that point. And over time, it gradually eases out. And this is a very nice way to work if you are getting into this action. So either use your bricks, foam pads, or a second chair in front of you, or indeed you can sit in front of a sofa if you've got a sofa that's got an appropriate height to push into your upper back. Because the good thing about these yoga chairs is that the upper back is kind of moved in by the back bar of the chair. And then you can just roll. So this area, the calf area, can roll outwards, and the thigh area rolls outwards too. So it's like this area is opening out like an orange segment. Okay, so it's opening out that way. And then we just sit and wait for the body to catch up. Sometimes we try and push ourselves into these poses, and all we have to do is wait and the body will release into them. So breathe, soften the facial features, press the heel bones together. Those of you who are able to press the whole of the sole of the foot together, then you press the whole of the sole of the foot together. If you're working on those bricks in front, then you just work to where you can work to. So you might find that this is something that you don't have to just confine to your yoga mat. You can do this when you're sitting and watching television. You can do it when you're on the phone. You know, you can even work on a computer if you've got a desk that's a suitable height in front of you. So do introduce your yoga practice into your daily life. Don't just leave it on your mat. So I'm going to come out of this now, but it might be that you're enjoying it so much that you want to stay in. That's fine. You can always stop the video and rerun it if you need to. But those who are coming out, gently release the feet down. Don't pull anything about. Bring your feet together. Sit forwards on your chair. Roll your shoulders back and down. And breathe. So we're going to come into a Savasana action now, relaxation, corpse pose. If you need to have a bolster, take a bolster underneath your knees. Those of you who can work flat to the floor, you work flat to the floor. I like to have a blanket underneath my head. It just stops it from tipping back a little too much, and I can roll it to have a little bit of support for the back of the neck, which I find very comfortable. We all have to find our ways of working in this action. Now roll the shoulder blades so that they come towards your back waist. Just press the elbows into the floor, move your shoulder blades in towards one another, fingertips facing towards the ceiling, and then release the hands down towards the floor. So the elbows are not tucked in at the sides of the ribs, they're just slightly apart. And then lift your toes, scrape your heels away, and then release your feet and knees out to the side. Let your eyes close and let the body start to soften, and let the breath flow through the nasal passages. So I am going to have to leave you now, but I would like you to stay in your Savasana for at least 3 minutes, just letting the body release and relax. Namaste.